Hey everybody, today I'm bringing you this layout that features those 3 little tiny photos, and I'll tell you the history of those in a little bit. And I'm also going to use papers from the Basic Gray Fresh Cut line. I'm really trying to use up this line, and actually I made quite a few layouts with this, and then I had one single sheet of paper left and put it in with my pink paisley, either Fancy Free or Turn the Page. I don't remember, one of those two. So I am actually done with all the papers from this collection. It was really nice to say finished. So I'm going to back those 3 pieces, or those 3 little photos on that piece of leaf paper there, the green leaf paper. It's Fresh Cut Bluebell Boutique. And then I'm going to space them out just a little bit so there's a little bit of space between them because they're very different photos. Then I'm going to ink them with my Memento Dewdrop in gray flannel. And I'm thinking about now what I'm going to do with them. And I decide I like that laid up on this pink background paper. And at this point, I'm not quite sure what's going to go on this layout and how it's going to work. Other than I'm pretty sure I'm going to use that multicolored background. So I added that pink paper there, which is the Orchid Alley B-side, and Orchid Alley is the multicolored paper that you can just see the top of right now. And then I added this envelope, chevron envelope from Recollections. This is an old pack, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to be able to hide journaling here because this is a very personal story, and I wanted to be able to hide it. So then I absolutely loved that floral paper. That is the Gardenia Row paper. So I'm going to chop up a piece of that. And it's funny, I'm constructing these layers and from basically the top down versus kind of bottom up. I haven't even really considered for sure that this is going to look okay on that background paper. It all works out in the end, though. I'll spoil the story that far. All right, so I'm just loving that floral paper. And, you know, in the end, a ton of it doesn't peek out, but I do love the way it looks in the end. Now, I don't like it directly on that multicolored background paper, so I'm going to add the floral paper anyway. I'm going to add that orange background paper, that orange dot, and that's the Violet Garden paper from Basic Gray Fresh Cut. I loved this collection. I had a ton of it at one point, which is why I still had it left over 4 years later because this came out in 2013. All right, so now I kind of have it positioned on the background where I like it. That background paper, again, is Orchid Alley. And I decided I really wanted to use these gold rub-ons. I had bought them to use in my nephew's wedding albums, and I never really used anything except for one piece of it. They're getting older. They are from 2014, so it's time to get them used up. They're from My Mind's Eye, the Jubilee collection, and it's the Mint Jubilee Journey rub-ons. So I'm using a bunch of old product on this layout, and it feels really good to do that. I don't have a ton of rub-ons. I don't use them very much anymore because they can be such a pain. But in this particular case, I am going to. And you're going to see me use a lot of them, and I'm going to rub them and rub them and rub them until I get them on. And the rub on there says Journey. I was originally thinking about this as a title, but in the end, I actually do put a title on, but I don't do it until after the video is done. Something comes to mind after the video is done, so make sure you look at the still shot and the detail shots. I use the Heart Chipboard Alpha from Dear Lizzie. It's called Sparkling, and I use that to do part of my title, and then I use some Studio Calico mini title letters, so that the actual title of this is going to be Running Buddies. And this is taking a while to rub this on because it's going over a couple of different layers, which actually worked out beautifully, but I really made sure it was rubbed into all those corners. So make sure you look for those chipboard letters in the end. They're hearts, and they work really perfectly. So now, speaking of hearts, I'm going to use this gold foil or gold rub-on up here in the left corner. And the reason the word journey and hearts is so important is these 3 photos are photos of 3 people who had passed away who were my running buddies when I started to run 9 years ago. I had lost a bunch of weight and decided I needed a new goal. And that friend of mine on the right side died of breast cancer the previous year. And she was a cross-country runner in high school, ran the Coleman Race for the Cure, and did a few other things. And so I decided to run the Race for the Cure in her honor, so I needed to start being able to run. So I started carrying her, and then in the middle, my dad had died just before her of leukemia. He was also a runner and did a marathon at one point in his life. So I put the picture of him in my shoe pocket and ran with him while I was training. And then the woman on the left passed away about a month before I did Race for the Cure. So I also took her a small picture of her and put that in my shoe pocket. And in my shoe pocket holds my address and information, like that kind of stuff. And I ran with them for many years in that pocket until I kind of changed out what I was doing. They were my companions and my inspiration. And I'll tell you, when I crossed that finish line, I was in tears thinking about how proud, especially my dad and my friend on the right would have been. So back to the layout. I decided to use some tickets for just a little bit of journaling. And those tickets are from Jenny Bolin Studios. And they are from 2009. They're the name, date, place tickets. So yay for getting a product that is 8 years old on the layout. Then I am going to use these puffy stickers from Elle's Studio. They are just called puffy stickers. They came in a couple of different colors. That one says the story of today. And then I'm going to add, I decided what I want to do is I want to use 3 of these stickers or tickets now, and I'm going to put their names and then the month and year that they passed away. And I actually tell the story of why these photos are significant. It's a fairly long one, and I tucked it into the envelope when I was all done. I just wrote it out on a card, and I think I added a rub-on to it and then put it in the envelope there. So now I added another sticker, another puffy sticker there. It says details. I'm getting close to being done. The other thing that I added is I had put the basic gray fresh cut stickers next to me, and right now I'm putting another, I put another puffy sticker on that that's going to come off. I put some black stickers there, but I didn't, I forgot to put them on until the very end. So look for those as well. There's an arrow that says my story and just another little sort of black rectangle that's on there. So look for those and then the title that I added. And that happens every so often. You look at your layout when your camera's off and go, oh, I think I like that. That puffy sticker that's sitting on the envelope is going to come off of the layout. I'm not going to put that on. And what I'm doing now is I'm gluing down those layers a little bit because it was coming up, and because the rub-on was over the top of that layer, it just didn't look right. So I'm just using my Scotch Quick Dry in my fine line bottle. All right. So I'm still playing with that. And what happens is I put it up there, and then when I decide to put my title up there, I end up taking that off, just so that you know that. And again, I'm futzing with layers here a little bit. I'm looking for a journaling card, and see, there's the journaling card that I'm going to end up using. So I just wanted to show you that. Now I'm looking again at what can I use for rub-ons, and I found that like prize ribbon and decided to just add that little bit of gold up into that cluster up there, because now all the clusters have some gold in. Well, at this point there's only 2 clusters there, but at this point now everything has a little bit of the gold rub-on. And these rub-ons are, so, you know, they're 3 years old. They just rubbed on perfectly. I had no problem getting them off. I was just being really careful because I was going over so many layers of paper. So now what I'm doing is I'm placing a couple of hearts around the layout. You know, these people were all important in my life, so I wanted to do that. And then that heart, the little hearts I'm going to place around echo the heart underneath the word journey there. So I thought that was kind of nice and important that I did that. And actually these hearts are hard to rub on because they're so little. And what I tend to do with rub-ons is I cut them off the sheet and then I rub them on. Because that just, you get a much better adherence that way. Okay. So this part of the process will take a little bit of time. This video actually, the process was a little bit longer, and that's just because it took me some time to get these things rubbed on. But overall, it still wasn't really all that bad. I think it was about 35 or 36 minutes. And considering the amount of layers and fussiness that I have with the rub-ons, I don't think that's bad at all. Really, seriously, the more you scrap, the faster you get. All right, so my last little touches are going to be some word strips, and these are from Crepe Paper Hello Love, the Valentine's Day 2017 phrase stickers. I think I actually bought these at Hobby Lobby around Valentine's Day. I like to, around holidays, I like to sneak back into some of the holiday spaces there, and they have some fun scrapbooking supplies. All right, so here's the still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and I will be back with another layout again soon. Bye!